Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bridge to the Galaxy. I'm your host, Tanys Coughlan, and I am super excited to have our guest today, Priscilla Lapierre.
Yeah.
And so we're super honored to have you today, Priscilla.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Let's let the audience hear a little bit about your story.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Priscilla. I am a lot of things. Let's start with what I do right now. Okay. I'm going to say that right now I'm working on a few projects, which is in relation to awakening people to other perspectives in life. I myself was not aware of anything about this like 4 years ago. As a child, I had experiences, but everything stopped. So 4 years ago, I started having experiences, which I will tell in a second, that brought me to where I am now, to wanting to help people and us talking.
So Priscilla is an experiencer. She has had contacts with ETs, extraterrestrials, for a number of years, and that's why she's on with us today.
Yeah.
So
4 years ago, craft started appearing to me, and I mean, I didn't know anything about this. So yeah, it's been really an amazing experience, and this is unprecedented times that we are in.
It is indeed.
Yeah, and it's a great honor to be, working through different projects to help everyone, to understand what's going on many, many levels.
So you're an interdimensional healer, basically, right? And that's what you're working with now.
Yeah, I'm more of an activator and a facilitator.
Okay.
I believe that we all have healing powers to different levels. So I don't like to consider myself a healer, because I consider myself a teacher more. Because the people that I will coach or help or interact with in that sense, I do not want them to think that I'm going to be the one that going to help them all the time. I want them to understand that they have that power and they can do it, and they have abilities that I don't have, and that we're all part of this great magnificent evolution that we're going through right now. And it's very, very the catalyst is very potent right now. Like, a lot is going on. So on every level we can be we can feel that we're linked to it, that it's concerning our life, because it's a global thing that's going on right now. Yeah. So as a child, as a young child, like, let's say, my first memories, they would be like kindergarten, so 3, 4. I have memories that, I couldn't really understand until 4 years ago. I had classified them in my brain as, dreams, child's memories, not imagination. Well, when you learn higher knowledge, you understand that all is mind. It's the first thing, that everything, we're creators. We're projecting in this reality. But I mean, that's yeah. So I mean, I didn't understand any of it. So it was hidden in a place in my brain with like non-important stuff. Yeah. So when all this started, obviously, I wasn't really understanding what was going on. I wasn't even aware of any of it. I wasn't into any spiritual stuff. I liked sci-fi stuff. I was always pulled to, these kind of things, but I wasn't ever considering. Sorry.
Just like when we talk about things like Star Wars, we were talking about that earlier. How there's so much. So there's quite a bit of reality within the Star Wars movies.
And Star Trek also, and all these are channeled kind of things, that even the people who created this, they weren't aware of this, obviously. but they had help with the information, in the field, in the quantum field. So yeah.
I kind of tend to think that that's a way that they've been helping us to integrate the idea.
Absolutely.
In order for disclosure and for them to make themselves known here, in a way that's non-threatening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, because there's always like the counterpart that's trying to scare people with this.
Yeah.
And between me and you, if there were any threats with these crafts and everything, it would been done a long time ago. I mean, what could they wait for? I mean, they would have other things to do, obviously.
Well, I think I've heard they're like 35,000 years ahead of us in terms of their technology and stuff. So we're really we're not a threat to them.
Exactly. And I mean, they wouldn't have, time to, not that time is important necessarily, but I mean, they would do other things with their creative power, than to stand there and do nothing. Right now, not that they're doing nothing, but not attack. Okay, we can put it like that. They would just
I don't
attack.
think
of course not. Of course not.
Nefarious agenda,
Of course not. Well, there has been for years, before. That's what we're doing now. We're awakening from this slumber, from this. It's a frequency. It's like a time space thing that we were kind of not captive in a way that but the experience was limited to the consciousness of the humanity. It was very, very closed down into a certain narrative, and it's been but right now we're really at a place in time and in space and in reality, in the spiral of the galaxy and the universe and everything. It's all aligning to bring in another frequency into this realm. So that's what's going on. Everybody is affected by it, everyone. So it's really the opportunity that's given to everyone to see things, to observe them, and to choose consciously what's going on right now.
That's definitely the big movement, in terms of when we talk about ascension and the rising of the frequency of the earth. We've had with the Schumann resonance having all the spikes that it's had and the solar flares that are bumping into our atmosphere.
That's what I'm talking about with the spiraling and the connection that's direct through the stargates and the sun, and it's really the activity of the photons and how it's streaming in, like the scientific perspective is like the solar flares and the solar winds and all this. It's really like we're being bombarded by particles, right? And we're in the how do they call it, the cloud, the I have a name,
like it's coming at the atmosphere, right?
But we're in a place in the universe where we're hitting unprecedented particles.
The photons.
Photon belt.
Photon part of
So we're like spiraling into it. So it's going to be really because how they do the hybridization scientifically here, like I think it's with the salamander and the frogs, that they have the molecules that they use gamma rays to do the merging of the molecules to the atomic
DNA
level, for it to merge and be able to integrate and grow and everything. It's through gamma rays. So that's what we're being shot at right now with gamma rays,
right? So, and it's creating a change really to the actual
Sorry, my son, he's like, and I'm like, no, go away.
No problem. So it's really, they're creating a change to us on a real cellular level.
And it's a frequency also, it's really like, it's another reality that's being poured into this place. So everybody, so that's why everything is happening, and that's why a lot of us are going through this. And on my side, when I was young, I had a few experiences with beings in my room, you know, me sitting in my bed and just looking at them and being like, okay, like what is that?
And what are you doing in my bedroom?
And I was never scared. I was never paralyzed or anything. I do remember very well often waking up and having this taste in my throat, like you know, like I couldn't identify it. And when I started studying yoga and you know, like tantric, white tantric, so teachings, I'm trying to remember exactly. I think it's in the Kundalini yoga, I think teachings, if I'm not mistaken, when you activate your pineal gland and you are able to move your sacred secretion, okay, it moves into your throat and you literally taste it. When I heard the women say that, I was like, oh my goodness, and I'm having crazy chills. That's what I was experiencing as a child, you know, because I hadn't I hadn't been cut off from this. And that's the Christed energy, you know, the potency of the human to activate, yeah, through all this. So it's really amazing.
So you had beings in your bedroom then when you were little.
Yeah, that would go into my closet, into a portal, literally. And I was like, okay, what's that? So yeah, and now here where I live, I have a lot of interdimensional you know, experiences. I have a lot of pictures where I have portals. I have like a light streamed, you know, like it's like a vortex a little bit where I am now. And me, I'm a grid worker that we can call. I stream in a lot of the cosmic energy through me and into the grid. So that's also like a portal, if you want, for, you know, for the activity. So nothing is for nothing. I mean, it's divinely orchestrated, I guess, that I'm here. And yeah.
And so you do a lot of telepathic communication with the ETs as well, right? So that's something.
Yeah, I don't talk to them literally. What happens is more than their thoughts are into my head. Like it's like if I would send you a file on internet, you know, like a whole file, I would just send it to you and then you look through the file and different, you know, parts of it, and that's what I get. So I don't get a conversation. I just get like
a download. We often call that a download.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to explain in words that people understand, because often in this community, we use words that are very broad and not so clear. And people are like, okay, get a download of what? Like, what's that? You know? So, yeah. So that's why I tried to break it down into little, but it's good that you linked the term that's used usually to it. So, you know? Yeah, exactly. But we all interact with them differently. You know, some literally have conversation.
Yeah.
Some hear the voices.
That's what happens for me, is I have telepathic communication.
Yeah, but I mean the telepathy, telepathy. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the telepathy is also different in different levels. You know, like the example I love to use is like when you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna bring the garbage outside. You don't tell yourself literally the whole sentence, I will bring the blah, blah, blah. You know, you just
it's a thought.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes it's more like that and sometimes it's different. It's all because I always say this also because when I began, I was trying to understand. I was trying to link up to another person's perspective and how they interacted with the beings. And I was like, for me, it's not that. So I thought I wasn't doing it right. And everyone is really different. And how you get it is how you get it. And we have to, that's how you start to learn to trust yourself and cross-reference little things. And then you're like, wow, this is like, I'm having crazy chills again. Like, this is amazing, mind-blowing, you know?
Well, I think each person has their own way of communicating, their own mission, their own individual mission. What we do when we're having that kind of interaction. And you know, we're coming to a time with all of the hearings and stuff that are coming up. We're coming to a time where it's going to be, I believe, much more out there, that we're going to start to see, feel, hear on a broader basis, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even like people from your town that you would have never dared to say anything, and they're going to be like, hey, I saw a spaceship. And like, oh, really?
Exactly.
That's nice. you know, and the importance of us having, like, of course, all of us have been through a lot because we were like considered out of the norm, okay, with how we would see things and everything. All my life, I was like, what is going on here? Who are these people? What, like, this is wrong. We can't do this. And I was asking questions to my mother, like, is it always so hard? Really? Like, it's not right. No, no, no. And
well,
I
because
never,
you've had lifetimes on other
I
on
knew
other
that
planets and stuff,
in
right?
the back of, unconsciously, I
Yeah.
knew that all this was not supposed to be like this. It was not supposed to be like this. Is not how we're supposed to live. And I would look like at the squirrel outside that's free and is not paying for her tree. You think you pay taxes on your tree? So, and I wasn't awake at all, and I had these kind of thoughts in my head. I was like, what is this place? So when all this unfolded, I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand. And it's been a very crazy process. I had to learn a lot of things. I had to study a lot of things. I had to really be the bigger person and see things from a higher perspective, to be able to still hold my ground and navigate everything in a way that I would get the outcome that is the most benevolent for everyone, without creating things that aren't, like having big fights with my family and stuff like that I'm talking about. And like trying to, so I had to be the silent Buddha. I had to be the silent Buddha, and be like, fine, y'all will see later, and I'll be the laughing Buddha there.
It's definitely it's an interesting journey, when we start down this road.
It's
So
humbling and
when
it's
did you start?
empowering.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah.
When did you start seeing the ships outside?
It was March 2019. I was with my boys. We were in the car eating in a restaurant, but in the car. And we were looking at the buildings across the street. I mean, nothing particular. And then we started, one light was really, two lights actually were really drawing our attention. And we were like, are these lights on the building, or are they attached to the building? And we're like talking about the lights, just like that, like basic conversation. And then we finished eating, and I engaged on the road, and then the lights went up, and one on each side of my car. And when I stopped at the light, they were planes, like, but stationary, hovering on each side of my car. And I was like, okay, what's that? And I wasn't scared. I was like, just what the beep?
Yeah.
And my children, I had my two boys with me. They're like, Mom, look at that. Like, I was like, yeah, I can see it, my love. And, like, okay, yeah, fine. So I knew that I wasn't hallucinating. I wasn't, the kids
they're
were,
seeing it.
like everybody was seeing it. So, and they followed us to the house, and I never felt threatened or anything. Like, I always felt like, that's really weird. Like, what is this? In the beginning, I had no idea. So then I think maybe a week after, I'm with my daughter, and here we live like 250 feet from the road. So it's like we have 7 acres. So it's my dad's property, it's not mine, but I mean, it's a big place, And we have one neighbor that's like in front of the house, but a little bit like on the side. So we come with the car and we park, and we're like, is that neighbor insane? Like, she put a spotlight on her house pointing towards our land. We're like, what is wrong with that person? Like, me and my daughter were like, blah, blah, blah. I'm not awake at that point, right? So I'm like, this is not under. And then we're like looking at it, for like talking about it for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes or something. And we walk closer a bit, and then we start seeing it going up and up and up. And we're like, what is that? And then it goes over our heads, and again, it's like a plane, but a really slow plane. like super slow, like
Mm-hmm.
almost stopped over our heads. And we're like, what in the name? Okay. And we're like, but every time I have one of my children with me, and the next morning they're like, Mom, remember yesterday, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, fine.
So were you hearing anything with them? Was it silent?
Oh, no, I mean, they have sound.
Okay.
Some have sound, most of them have sound.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them have sound. Like the they don't have sound when they're hovering, when they're not moving, but once they shapeshift kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
the lights change, and then it's like a plane, and then it passes, and some have more sound than others, but they really mimic, like and even, like even the Pleiadian pilots, they with their technology and the crafts, they integrate the pilots of the Earth, register, and they have a number and everything. So if they're called on the CB and everything, they can say, "Oh, I'm that number, blah blah blah." I don't know exactly what they say. I'm not a pilot. Well, but they integrate our air.
The air systems, like the air traffic
Systems.
systems, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, to interact with the bases and everything around that are checking. And so,
So you're saying that the bases know who they are then?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because when I drive, it's like in Top Gun. I mean, I have videos. And I don't have that much of when I'm driving because I'm always alone driving. It's either I'm going to get my kids and, I'm always in the house. So I would need someone with me that would be willing to film and everything. It's coming. I'm starting to talk about it more. So people are obviously going to be here because these crafts are here every day, every night. They're always there every day. If I scan the sky for them, they're going to pop in. Like they're connected to my sights. They know what I see, and like I don't feel they're intrusive at all, but they know when I'm looking for them. Like in the sky, they're gonna pop in. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. And when I drive, they're like one on each side, and sometimes they're more. Sometimes there are a bunch of them. I'm like, oh my goodness! I'm like, what are y'all doing? Because like 1, 2 on that side, and I see 2 there, and 1, 2 there, and then I cross the bridge, and there's one on the other side in the city waiting. I see them. I know them. Like it's like, oh my goodness.
So talk to us about that you know them. Talk about the fact that you see them in your mind's eye, and you are aware of what they look like, and you know who you're talking to when you're talking to them.
Yeah, of course. When I just want to finish what I was saying with the national security, because
of course,
when we drive, when we drive like that, they fly through the airport no-fly zone.
Right.
Like they don't bifurcate; they just fly through it. So that's when I told myself, okay, the person in the tower there watching, for sure they see them passing through, so they know, and they're here always, and I never get like interference from our national security. So for sure, these people are with us. They're with our higher military, if you want, or higher aspects of the guardianship of the planet. Okay, with the Galactic Federation and
the Galactic Federation,
the Federation of Worlds, and it goes beyond. But I mean, these ones that are flying in our atmosphere, they're not Arcturians, or they're humanoids. They're like humans. They look like us. They're like 2.0 humans, very perfect looking, beautiful beings, so that's how I see them in the planes there. I often see them with it depends, but often I see them with a brown uniform. They have a different some have orange, some that are higher though, that are more looking like stars, but they move, and they're interactive, so they're not stars. They're bigger space stations, platforms. Some have consciousness, literally. They're like the celestial beings. So those ones, that are the platforms, I see on them the higher beings with the spacesuits a little bit more kind of looking, you know, what we were talking about earlier with the you know, that which would be like the Space Force bases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are in the planes here, they're more dressed like our army also, because, you know, they're like integrated into, you know, the human. Yeah. But
So,
like they,
so
yeah,
you
go ahead.
suspect that our military is aware and that they're
Oh,
integrated into our military?
Oh yeah, for sure. But the military is super compartmentalized, like absolutely, totally compartmentalized. So, yeah, some parts know things, some don't. These guys, they would be considered Solar Warden or, you know, other factions. I don't know if you want me to name them. But yeah, they're okay, yeah, okay. I can call, sorry, because they're like
They
telling
talk
me,
to her.
yeah, white hats, okay, white hats, the white hats, you know, what people consider the white hats, people that are working within the government, but they're shadow government, but good shadow government, if you want, you know, and you know, they will not, that's why we're there also, because they can't just come and overtake and do everything for us, because it's going to be the same. It has to be done in a way that everybody's seeing things that are very uncomfortable, going through very uncomfortable things, crazy things, unprecedented chaos, kind of, you know, like not unprecedented chaos, because there was more worse times than here, as in wars and everything. But I mean, we were kind of a society that was kind of going okay, you know, and then with what happened with the pandemic and everything I mean, on the side of our government, the controllers, the ones that we thought, you know, that were our helpers. That's what the chaos I'm talking about more. The grip and the seeing what has been going on with all this and with the kids and everything, the movie that's coming out. You know what I mean?
So so if we're talking about the ET involvement in that stuff, they're really they're just bringing it forward, right? In terms of they're helping us to bring out of the shadows and bring stuff up to our awareness, because the only way you can sort of counteract that kind of thing that's been happening in all of those areas is with bringing it to light, right?
Yeah, and it's us that has to do work, because they do work also, and the archangels do a lot of work in the fourth dimensional, fourth density, astral, dream realm, call it what you want, okay? When you fall asleep, okay, there's another reality that you navigate in and that you forget when you're awake. People
I always refer to it as the astral, but
absolutely, I'm just trying to reference for people who don't interact really in a conscious way, for them to understand, like sometimes in dreams, how real it is. Well, it's actually kind of real. It's just that you don't, you know, we've been taught that it's not, but it is. So these beings, they interact a lot in these around the archangels and all that. They can interact differently and many ways. But what I want to say is that we, the humans that are awakening, we are really the ones that have the power of action in this realm. So they can back us up, we can back them up, but here it's really going to be like linking up with these beings so that we, the humans, can take our power back.
So tell me about the I think we may put on a few pictures, and maybe we'll put in a few
absolutely
throughout, just so that we can talk about it. So maybe what we'll do is I can actually bring some up and we can share.
I can talk about the healing, maybe.
Talk about the healing, because there's some galactic healing that you're doing, right? And so
well, I'll talk about my healing, my personal healing, and maybe what I'm doing after with the grid work. If you want, we can, you know, we have so much that we want to talk about. So I mean,
And I'll pull
'Cause
up
it's
some of the
really
pictures so you can talk about what's in them.
absolutely, yeah, okay. Because it's in the process, if we go chronologically, I was very sick when they started appearing to me. I had been in a bad accident in 2003. I had both my legs broken multiple places, and I had arthritis that was really stopping me from walking. I was on heavy medication for pain. I was on, like antidepressants and everything, because of course when you can't walk and you're like a prisoner in your own body because you can't move, and you're like, it gets to your brain, and a lot. So it was a package deal. I was not okay at all. I had the carpian tunnels here not working, so both my hands, both my feet were not working. I had the diagnosis from doctors that my oldest son was autistic, which we can touch on based on that after also with the kids, because it's part of the awakening. These children are very gifted. They're far from being disabled. My child is not taking any medication right now at all. They would put him on 3 different types of medication when he was 3 years old, 3.5. That was part of my awakening also. It's all been a part of what I was learning and integrating and changing, because the healing happened a little bit before we got locked down. Okay, we got locked into our houses and everything was closed and everything. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know what, but I knew stores would be closed. I knew that we would, be in a very precarious situation. I don't know how you say that in English. In a very situation that would be very difficult, okay, very hard and unprecedented in the ways of being able to move and all that and access things. And I was on medications that had me. Oops, my light just went out. Am I? Oh, it's dark. It's very cool.
There we go. Now we can see you.
I affect light a lot. I just tapped on the table and it went over. Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about the ships that you see around your home. So yes. I've prepared a couple of pictures here that maybe we can give some commentary on as we do that. So one moment. Absolutely. And I'll just pull the pictures up for us to take a look at.
Yeah.
There we are. Yep. So tell us about some of these pictures as we go through. What were you seeing here? So you took these pictures yourself?
Yeah, all the pictures that we're going to see today are taken by myself.
Okay.
When I look at them with my eyes, I see a sphere, a light. Okay. With the pictures, we can see the gravitational fields around them. They're like, those ones specifically, they're like Merkaba fields a little bit. They have their own, exactly. They don't fly, they teleport, kind of.
Right.
Okay, it's like they have their own gravitational field. So that's why they can literally go fast and stop and hover and do 90-degree turns. They can do zigzags. They can stop and go backwards. Like it's maneuvers that would be totally impossible for our types of flying methods that we have here. Okay, it's not flying, it's literally teleporting, so there's no impact on the beings and the ship, which is which are light ships, because they're like in another frequency. It goes so fast that for us it's really just flickering, and moving like really fast. I have videos that we can see it very well. It looks like these games that when you're a child you push on it and it turns like into pee. I don't know how you call that.
Yes, like a top.
Okay, that's how you call it. So it's like, it spins really fast, so it's the fields. And they can literally pop into reality and pop out of reality instantly. If I look for them, they'll pop in, boom, 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 and I'm like, hey, how you doing, everyone?
Yeah.
I see them every day, so we've gone. I also see, that's another one.
You can
They're
see
also,
the force field like around it, like the propulsion stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's like plasma. It's plasma. So it's they can morph, they can project in different ways. Um I'm not getting sightings like with saucers that are for sensationalism and for me to film and stuff like that. It's not that narrative. It's really, these are higher beings that have higher technology, and we're going to be like the middle people to integrate these technologies here, which are way, way more than any boats and nuts that
we have here.
we can,
Yeah.
Some are
sure.
hard material, but most of them have consciousness in them. Like these
Yes.
crafts, they're the pilots, it's with their minds, like it's, some are not even real crafts. They're just and their own energy fields that they create a Merkaba to navigate. So yeah.
You can see this one a little closer with the energy. You can actually sense the energy that's around it and moving.
Absolutely.
In that picture. So
yeah, and I was gonna say that when I look at them, I always see a stream of pink energy streaming down, and you can be like watching them and be like, like it's really amazing feeling. I don't get so much into trance, into looking at them. I'm more interacting. We're working more now, but in the beginning, I would be like, me and my boyfriend, we would be both looking at them like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
well, they have an energy, right?
Almost like a I don't know, a fuzzy, warm, good feeling of like you just want to hug them, like it's always been that feeling with them. So yeah. And before everything started with the pandemic and all that, I kind of knew stuff was going on, and I asked them, and at that point I was really starting to interact with the archangels. They're the first beings that I saw literally act in a way that I was not understanding. I was like, oh, if that's me, if that's my imagination, I am not normal. Like as a person that was not awake, I was like, what is wrong with me? Because they were doing things that I was not understanding around me. And I was like, okay, what's this? And yeah, so when I started, it was really mostly Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael that really were so nice. Like, so, yeah, they're amazing beings, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beings of light. I just wanted to take 1 second and just step back to this one, because I think this was a really impactful one when I saw this one. You can really see the detail here, and the color, of course, is very unusual for us to find in the sky. And this is, you were mentioning earlier, like sacred geometry almost, right? Of course, our yellow line is us drawing on it too.
It's me that circled with my finger on sharing it.
But this,
I have a picture I can send you next time with no.
That's okay. I'm sure people can get the idea.
Of course.
So this is quite unusual. So you saw this around where you live, right, in the sky?
Yeah, I have a few pictures of spheres like that. They're biospheres, they're interdimensional. And the fields, the sacred geometry that we see, like my hands right now are vibrating so hard because I'm like doing this around it and the astral kind of thing.
Yes.
So this is super, super high vibrational beings that made themselves known to me on my pictures and in the sky, and when I took that picture, I did not know any of it. So when I started understanding that it was depicting the flower of life and all these different patternings of creation, because yeah, it's what it is. You know, this sacred geometry is literally the
The building
Play-Doh,
blocks of
the
life.
Play-Doh. Yeah, I mean, I call it the
Yeah.
Play-Doh of the realms of creation. So
Yeah.
it's really something. It's all interlinked, and it's very, very magnificent. You know.
Mhm.
Hmm. So yes,
So
I
you've had a lot of these kinds of experiences, the crafts and the certainly having the connection with the
every day.
ETs and the
Yeah,
and the also, I mean, the you spoke about the archangelics being, you know,
yeah.
beings of love and light, and you know, that's
Hmm.
certainly, I work with them in my practice a lot as well. And
Yes, because they're the ones that are the intermediary, if you want, with the other ones. They're the ones that were the bridgers, you know, like
mhm.
in between. So yes, and you know, like when if if I connect, I see a few of my aspects also through my a stream, my pillar of light. You know, some people call it like that. My stream to source, to my creator consciousness. We're all in the same mind kind of thing. Okay,
We're all
here we're all,
one, we're all connected. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it means. Is that the mind, the universal consciousness, you know, is flowing down into these different beings through us. So now the ascension is us being able to connect back to all of it in this physical body. Like this is
Yeah,
unprecedented.
it is.
That's
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
on
really
this earth anyway, right?
yeah, well, yes, in this universe reality experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do you get any sense of when the ETs may actually become physical
Yeah.
on this earth, that we might actually see them in the physical? I mean, I think they're here on and off, perhaps not in a well, they're not necessarily in a three-dimensional form, but they are here in other dimensional. And those of us that see it, we can certainly see them when they're here in those other forms. And I think that everybody has that ability to
Absolutely
tap into that.
It's just not in their reality. They don't think it's possible. They don't know it's possible, so it's not there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And that's part of our work, I think, as light
Yep.
workers, is putting it out there and being galactic ambassadors about, you know, creating that as a framework for people so that they can tap into it as a framework. So I think that's an important role. So what's your sense on that? Do you have a sense of when more of the population will be more aware of their presence?
I'm just gonna
You're gonna tap in for us and see?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because time is not something that is fixed. Okay, it's like there's always things that, and right now, in the higher realms, some would want it to be 5 years ago, and some want to wait for different reasons and different perspectives more of.
Yeah, that's been my experience with them as well. I've had conversations with a few and been at the table for those. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's very, it's not like yes or no thing. It's very complicated. It's very multifaceted. And there's different things different outcomes that are equal in, you know, benevolent outcomes. It's not them that have to choose this. It's the collective of the humans. Because they would have, you know, done it way before. That's what I was saying before, as in they won't come and intervene. We as a collective have to accept this reality in a way that's going to be empowering for us, because there's like two big outcomes on this, okay? And we don't want one of it. One of them, we do not want that outcome. No one wants that outcome. Not me, not you, not them. No one. Some would, you know, but not not in our gang.
No.
So I mean,
definitely a minority would not.
Absolutely more important for everyone that the humanity's conscious awareness gets expanded, and that our ability to navigate all the new parameters and information in a way that's going to be empowering for us.
Yes.
That's the point of it. It's
and,
not
and being full of love, right?
Yeah, well, of course, love, but yes, absolutely love. But what I mean is that we don't want this to be an experience where humanity will not integrate the capacities of the higher beings. Like, we don't want to have other rulers. We want to, that's what I mean, because, sorry, if we don't wait, a lot of the humans, they won't understand, and they'll react in a way that either they will bow to the beings, they will, they want their consciousness is not going to be able to accept that they are the ones that have to do it, and they can do it and everything, like it's touchy. So for us, we're ready, we want this. And I'm not saying contact is not good, real contact is not going to happen for some of us, a lot of us, because there's a lot of us, like me and you, and we're going to start very soon. I feel very soon, okay, to be able to really plan how we're going to do this in a very tangible way with the I always hold on, I'm going to take a little sip of water because
absolutely. Well, that's kind of what we're doing with the Alliance, is really trying to get some parameters in place with some of the political agendas to create,
it's interlinked,
to create this peaceful
absolutely
arrangement. Right?
Absolutely. Because not only peaceful, but also integrating us as a community with them, like as their equals. Like, they're not better than us. They only have evolved more consciously, technologically, all of it, okay? But they're not better than us. That's what we need to understand. Exactly. They have, like, we're as good as a soldier, but our gun is not as good as their gun. Like, if you want to put it on our toolbox is limited, and they have a huge toolbox, and they want to share the toolbox with us and show us how to use the tools so that we can, and the gun was not a good example, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But what I mean,
their healing tools, for instance, like their healing tools are
and
more profound.
Transmutational tools to transform the limited parameters of this realm, of this place, of this reality. Okay, because it's all together. It's just that we don't perceive it, we don't see it. It's not in our reality. So for us, it's not there. But once you understand and you see and you're starting to integrate it, it's always there then. It's always like that. It's really, the mind is like your eyes, they're giving you an image to your brain that your brain is processing, but I mean, the information is not in your brain. It's in the field. It's
in the conscious field.
Yeah, and it's all connected through the atoms and the air, and everything's stuck on to one in each other. So when you push, it's all a wave. It's all connected up to the end of the field of the reality. I mean, so yeah.
So everything is connected. We are all one. And I think the more that we find peace within our own beings here that are on Earth, I think then we will be able to move forward into accepting other races that may not have
and that's the
Earth as their home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean by expanding the conscious awareness, like, because all is not what it seems at all. And you can find peace in your heart, truly, truly true peace, when you understand what is going on in a way that it's non-threatening, that you understand the other ways of seeing it, and not just being polarized in a dark and light and life and death and really
fear versus love. And
absolutely, because you can't find peace if you don't understand how it's, you know, because you're always going to have your mind. So the knowledge is the first place, I think, for everyone to go and understand stuff, and then they can start experiencing it, you know?
Well, at least having it come into it being a possibility. It's hard to have things that are not a possibility if we're not open to change and open to possibilities, right? And opportunities. And I think the more that we can open to possibility.
Like for me, I'm going to go give a good example of this, that it's really mind-blowing because when I got my healing, okay, I asked Archangel Michael to bring me to the Arcturian craft to be healed in their crystal technology, you know, light technology. It's like
they're like beds almost.
Yeah, it's like a tanning bed, or not with a top, but I mean, and I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing like
it's okay. Yes, I've seen those the crystalline healing beds.
And there's light that lights up into that, different lights and frequency, and it's just like, yeah. So I had heard that I could ask Archangel Michael that he was starting to be the middleman, you know, between between the interdimensional higher beings and, you know, for the fear and everything, you know, whatever. And I had a friend of mine that was on taking the same pain medication and had a very similar experience as me with being hurt and being incapacitated and all that, okay, being unable to function with their bodies, you know, like it's crazy when you're not able to function. And when you take all these medications, all my other systems were not functioning. Like it was shutting down. I was not okay. So she had told me that in the hospital, she had seen Archangel Michael and he had came to her and she had asked him, you know, to help her, and he had healed her. And I believed her, you know, because she was my friend and I knew she was telling me the truth. Like I believed her. She was going crazy with that. Like it was like, you know, and then I heard from a person that was, I think she's a tarot reader or something. Okay, and I was listening to her on YouTube. That's in the beginning. It's like 2020, like 1 year in. And she was saying, oh, Archangel Michael's saying to everyone who needs, you know, help to ask him, and he's going to bring you to the Arcturian ship. So I was like, okay, go, Michael.
Oh, let's do it.
We'll do it, you know? And if you don't ask it specifically, they won't do it because, I mean, they don't want to be responsible for your, you know, like it's not their job. They're here to assist us. Like I'm here to assist others and everything. And at the same time, I was starting to study quantum physics and the illimited possibilities and the illimited selves, you know, fractals that exist in space-time reality, floating for me to tap into them, you know? So I tapped into the Priscilla that had never taken any medication. That's my part that I did. And I really believed in it. And the Arcturians, they always tell me that they only helped me with my perceptual system to accept that I could shift into the other reality. They don't say that they healed me, you know, like we're funny, but with the beds.
The beds help you to change your perspective, I think, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It changed my molecular system to be able to integrate these kinds of realities and everything, I guess, you know, like everything, it really, that's what I'm kind of seeing with particles and everything as we're talking about it. So yeah, and Archangel Michael, he literally just took my body there, you know, like he brought me there and he brought me back. And I don't know if it's like a few days after, I think it's 3 days after I actually watched the video about it, the very first video I ever did in my life about it. And I'm sitting on my bed and I'm like, oh, but I say it like 3 days ago, I asked for healing and then my medication disappeared. Like it was not in my house anymore. And I was like, okay, everyone, this is not funny no more. Like I was like not you know, used to this. And I was like, okay, that's not funny. I'm going to be sick and this and that. And I managed to talk to my doctor and get my other, whatever. Okay. So I got other medications. And throughout the day, I talked about it with people, and people were like, oh, maybe it's your guides that took it away. I'm like, yeah, but my guides, maybe they don't understand that if I don't take it, I'll be very sick. You know, I was back in my 3D mentality because we do that. You know, like we can't see it anymore. It's not like we understand it anymore. Like when we're in stress and in going through hardship and stuff like that, we are not able to see it. Well, maybe more now, but in the beginning, you're like really fluctuating. So I wasn't in the mindset that I was okay. I was not, you know. So anyways, I got the medication. I got home. I calmed down, and I said to myself, okay, I will try. I won't take anything, and I'll see if I get sick while I have my medication. I'll just, you know, talk to what I see. I was not expecting any outcome. And from that day, I haven't taken any medication at all. I was like on 10 different types of, you know, chemical prescription, you know, medicine. And I mean, I was very sick from them. This was killing me, literally. It was killing me. And the doctors had operated my legs. They had told me that they had welded my ankle so it wouldn't move. They told me I would never walk normally. I'm sorry. They told me I would never walk normally again, okay? And to forget about that, literally, that I should get my toe cut off because whatever. Like they were really like, I didn't have much hope of becoming like I am now. Okay. And after that day, when this happened and I saw that I wasn't getting sick and everything, I was like, wow, this is something. And so from that point there, I started integrating many different holistic modalities. I changed a lot. Yeah, I'm having chills because they're going to help you, but you have to do your part, you know, in that.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, you have to take the reins. Like they're not gonna do it for you. You know, like I was sorry. I'm not like they're gonna help you, and they're gonna really show you miracles if you are sincere and authentic and your reasons why you want to do this. And if you're understanding what's going on or not, it's not super important. But the heart and why you want to do it is really important. And then you have to do the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So I changed my food. I changed, you know, I took out the chemicals from my house, and that changed a lot for my son with his autism. It's all linked. Yeah. Everything that I integrated with me to heal my body from that point on, because they healed, you know, the parts of the medication that I was on that was making me sick, but I was still disabled. And right now I run every day. I mean, I've never been in such good physical shape in my life. So I'm totally healed. So it's been, you know, ongoing. And one of my missions is to show this to people that if you know me and you saw me 4 years ago, how I was, and you see me now, you're like, whoa, what happened to you? You know, so I'm here to tell you that everyone can do this. All of us, we have this capacity, you know, but we have to do it. No one's going to do it first.
Yeah, we have to step in and take control as well, right? Like we have free will.
Absolutely.
So because we have free will, they can't interfere unless we ask them.
It's teamwork.
And we have to do our part for sure.
Yeah, because we're the ones in grounded on Earth. We're the incarnated ones here, human, you know, so it's our realm here. It's our Earth. We have to own it. We have to become the guardians. That's the thing. The guardians, they're giving us the word, how do you say that? We'll be the wardens.
Wardens of,
Yeah, we'll be the guardians. Okay, the humans.
Yeah, of the Earth.
Yeah, that's why we're going to be part of the galactic, you know, group federations and everything. But for that, we need to evolve in our way of seeing things, understanding things.
For sure.
That's,
Awesome. So final thoughts, if you could share a thought, what's your final thought with our viewers? My final thought is there's nothing impossible right now.
we are in a potent, magical upliftment of our reality. If you want to see it like a video game, we're getting gear, we're getting doorways, we're getting, you know, like, I don't know how they say it, but we're getting a lot of things that we thought weren't possible that are going to be very possible. And that's going to be part also of the way of creating and having abundance with the money and everything. It all is going to change with that, because universe is endless. There's no limit of this. We were in a limited paradigm of, you know, experiencing this in that way, and now it's changing. So, I mean, yeah, saddle up.
Saddle up.
Yeah.
Deep breaths all. Let's go on this road together, and we're going to journey in.
We're not alone.
The future. Absolutely.
We have a lot of help. Yes. And we're just not aware of it because our attention is not there. It's on what the people who are running the information channels through, you know, that's the narrative, that because we're the creators. So, you know, it's really, there's a lot more going on that we think. Good things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening. It's all happening for us, folks, not
absolutely.
To us.
No, for us.
So we want to thank Priscilla for coming on and sharing her experiences. It's been such a pleasure having you on. And we're going to sign off at the moment. And we thank you so much for joining us here on Bridge to the Galaxy. And we're wishing you a wonderful month.
Yeah, you too.
Soon, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.